There we go. So, welcome to Tuesday Talk. Thanks for joining. Today, we're going to talk about scheduling appointments, which you probably already are doing for a lot of your clients and prospects. And one thing I'll say that doesn't really apply to Wellabe or Medico or Great Western or any of the subsidiary companies under Wellabe is the scope of appointment. I've heard a lot of agents say that they're going to just start mailing out scope appointment early because the 48-hour rule, if it's the business coming in, if it's a walk-in, you don't need it. And there's lots of rules and regulations on this. And I just lost my power cord. 1 second. Sorry about this. It just fell on the ground. But when it comes to scopes, I hear a lot of agents are sending them out now. So talk to your uplines in your compliance department and see what the regulations are, because I don't know. I try and keep up on it, but the challenge in compliance every year is CMS releases the rules, carriers interpret those rules, and then there's not a universal interpretation across the board. So you could talk to one carrier that does MA and Part D plans, and they'll say, this is how we interpret that rule. You'll talk to another carrier and say, this is how we interpret that rule. And it can be completely different. So make sure that you are talking to your uplines, talking to their compliance departments, and saying, what's the rule on sending out a scope ahead of time? Because I want to make sure I'm doing it properly. So double check before you do that. But again, I hear that's the new norm right now, is sending out the scopes to help streamline the process. But, 10/15 is almost here. You're getting ready to sit down with the clients and prospects, right? Whether it be virtually, over the phone, or face-to-face, at their home, in your office, at a neutral location, whatever that is. And if you don't have all the materials and scripts and everything else, right now is a good time to really nail that down. Are you ready to cross-sell hostile indemnity with every single MA person? You should be. Now, when I say cross-sell, I would say cross offer. The phrase ABC from Glengarry Glen Ross. And if you've seen Glengarry Glen Ross, go ahead in the Q&A area and just say yes, or I have. I guiltily have not seen the whole movie. I've seen the scene where Alec Baldwin talks to the sales reps about 1,000 times. Where first place is Cadillac, second place is steak knives, and third place is you're fired. Yeah, I've seen that tons of times. And he says ABC, always be closing. That's also where Coffee is for Closers comes from. But for us, I think ABC should mean always bring choices, right? There's no one size fits all. You should always bring choices and options to your clients and prospects, whether that be with the primary product, an MA plan, or MedSup, but especially with ancillary products. Now, you don't have to bring 2, 3, 4 hostile indemnity plans. You could just bring one, i.e. Wellabe's hostile indemnity plan, which is up for a big announcement next month. Watch that. I know it's the middle of AEP, but we're getting out as fast as we can. However, there's always bring choices. Hey, you have the choice of adding a hospital benefit to this that can offset some or all of the hospital plans and potentially offset all the 20% chemotherapy costs. I'll give you some information on that, okay? Everyone's going to say, okay. If you present it as, here's an option, I'm not trying to sell you it. I'm just trying to educate you on it. They're going to listen. If you say you need this, or I'm going to hardcore sell this to you, they're going to back off. But people want to know their choices, right? When you go to a restaurant, you want to see half the menu or the whole menu, right? If you're sitting down with a friend, significant other, whoever, there's a couple of you at the table, and you start looking at the menu, it's like, ooh, this looks good. And they're like, oh, I haven't seen that on the menu. And you're like, what's on my menu? And the server comes over, and you're like, how come all our menus are different? And they're like, oh, well, we didn't know if you want all the choices. So we just kind of spread it out. Well, guess what? Everyone wants to see all their choices. So make sure you're doing that to your clients and prospects. And you need to have that ironclad ready to go before you sit down with them, to give nice, clear, consistent presentations, to give you nice, clear, consistent results. It's hard to be successful when you're winging it all day, every day. There's a reason scientists use scientific methods to get from point A to point B. So if there is a mistake, or it's some error, or is some adjustment, then go back and look what they did wrong Most insurance agents don't do that. We just wing it and we go in like, I can't understand why I'm not as successful as I should be, even though I have no structure whatsoever to my business. So make sure you're doing that now. Also, I think another thing to really think about this time of year is one call closes, which we all prefer, right? I prefer them. I'm sure you prefer them. It's just easier. Of course, being that the clients and prospects are comfortable doing that. However, you may not have those. And what is your plan? What structure do you have in place to have secondary calls with your clients and prospects? One thing I would suggest doing is looking at your CRM, your client relation management system, or your database, whatever you're using, whether it be what's it called? Less annoying CRM, whether it be Agency Block, whether it be Zoho. There's tons of different CRM options for insurance agents out there. Whichever one you're using, make sure you're using all the useful features of it, because some of them may have an automated system you could trigger for your clients and prospects. So if they want to think about it, you may be able to put them on a track where you automatically send them emails every so often through your CRM to say, hey, just touching base with you, yada, yada, yada. Or make sure you have a plan in place to contact them, whether it be on your calendar, keep it simple, or it could be numerous other places. Point is, make sure you're doing something to make sure you're not letting those clients and prospects slip through the cracks, but also have some consistency with it. So what does it look like to have a second appointment with you, and what are you going to do to make sure that second appointment actually takes place? That's something to consider this AEP, because not all your calls will be one call closes. And again, I'm going to hammer this all throughout AEP and all throughout until I retire at 106. The SOA limits you to a certain number of products. You need to talk about them. Your clients expect, again, to hear other options that they have. Hospital indemnity, perfect pairing with Medicare Advantage. Dental, but Mike, my hospital indemnity plan, oh, you know what? I realized my Q&A is not up. Sorry, I had wrong window open. So with dental, you're like, Mike, my Medicare Advantage plans have dental built in. Correct, but isn't enough. Is it? If, again, we've talked about this in the past, if they need a couple implants, because that's what I would ask for. Can I get implants? Because that's the latest, greatest, newest thing. So if they need a couple implants and they have to spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, does their plan allow them to get what they need? You can add a dental plan on top of a Medicare Advantage plan like ours that does not coordinate, meaning they could have any other insurance and they could use both at the same time or sequentially or however they want to do it. But that gives them another layer of dental to help further offset dental costs. Your clients deserve to know that, or they also deserve to know, if they're coming off a Medicare Advantage plan, that they can still have dental benefits even though they're leaving their MA plan. If you're not educating your clients and prospects about this, this is why these 800 numbers were so successful. They were talking about the secondary benefits. Are they still talking about them? Not to the degree that they were, but don't forget, October 1st changed a lot of things for marketing. But that doesn't mean curiosity isn't going to set in with your clients or prospects and not going to, I'll just call them, ask a couple questions before they know they got new insurance. So to prevent that, you need to make sure you're showing your clients all their options and everything available and tell them the pros and cons of it. Have a conversation, not a presentation with them. So make sure that you're using Scope as a tool to introduce hospital indemnity and dental, and then also make sure you have some sort of mechanism, whether it be a menu, whether you direct them to your website. I would suggest handing them a piece of paper, emailing them that PDF of that piece of paper and saying, here's everything we offer as an insurance agency. Now, don't just say we offer hospital indemnity, because one, nobody knows what indemnity means. So I would say additional hospital benefits, but then give one line what it is, right? There's nothing worse going into a restaurant and they have a dish and you don't know what it is. So there's a famous restaurant here famous for Columbia called Murray's. It's a little local place, has decently priced food, very good. But one thing I hate about the menu, there's no description on anything, right? It just says what it is. So if you don't know what it is, you got to ask the server, which is fine. But it'd be nice if they put like a quick one-line description of what it is. So if I am buying insurance as a consumer and I see you have hospital benefit or hospital indemnity plans on your menu, I might think, well, I have hospital benefits through my Medicare plan. Why would I need that? But if you put the little one line on there saying this hospital benefit can offset or even eliminate hospital copays, I'm going to go, wait, I have hospital copays. This can offset that. Tell me more. Especially useful after you leave the appointment, whether it be virtual, over the phone, in person. When they get that and they're looking at it and they're going, oh, I want to know more about that, I'm going to call my insurance agent. So make sure you don't just put what it is, but do a quick little one-liner of why they should consider it. And not a paragraph. It should be quick, easy explanation to give them an idea what the coverage does to incite a conversation with you. So let's see. Deborah asked about one call. I'll go back to one call closes, Deborah. Don't worry, we'll talk about it at the end. Now Chris asked, when it comes to CRM that's reasonably priced, what do you recommend? So I always say CRMs are very much like automobiles. Mercedes are expensive for a reason because they come with lots of bells and whistles. Chevys can come with lots of bells and whistles too, but maybe not to the degree of a Mercedes. And then you have your baseline cars. So if you're looking for baseline, I've got my systems in place. I don't need any of that fancy stuff. I just want a bare bones basic system. That's going to be less annoying CRM. That's less annoying like a sibling, because I'm sure my sisters call me annoying. Less annoying CRM. I think it's $15 per user per month, but it's just a basic, no frills CRM, and it has an insurance template. That's why a lot of insurance agents use it, because they have that template you could add to it and then make it your own. If you want the bells and whistles, if you want the automated systems, and here's something to consider. If you are a one-person show or one agent agency or even two agent agency, having a more robust CRM can be like having a virtual assistant without having the cost of a virtual assistant. So it's kind of like a twofer. You get virtual assistants and a CRM in one, and that's going to be Agency Block, BLOC, because they have a lot of features that you could automate. So yes, it does cost more, but it does a lot more. And that's the one CRM that every insurance agent I know that uses Agency Block loves it. So something to consider. Is it more expensive? I think it's like $80 a month, which sounds very expensive. But guess what? If you get a couple extra sales a year because you didn't miss something or your clients are referring you, that $80 a month is going to seem like a really big bargain when you have extra sales coming in because of it, because your retention is better, your referral options are better for your clients to remember you. Lots of pluses, and you don't have to pay for a virtual assistant. So something to consider. I would definitely recommend checking out Agency Block and Less Annoying CRM. And there are other ones out there too that I don't have experiences with, or nor do I know anyone. So if you use a CRM that you love, please put it in the Q&A area. I'd love to tout them. Now, mind you, we have no affiliation with any of the CRM companies. I'm just sharing something that could help you. And if you find one, I'm happy to tout them all day long. But again, make sure you're showing your clients and prospects all their options. And last but not least, I know we have our blinders on for AEP. What about Q1, right? If they have concerns about cancer, about short-term care, if your clients want to age in place, which I can guarantee, if you ask this AEP, 100 people, do you want to age in place or do you want to go to a nursing home? 99% will be like, I'm going to age in place. I don't want to go to some nursing home where God knows what happens. I want to stay here. What plans do they have? This is a great little seed to plant. And you could say, look, I can't talk about that today. You do have some affordable options, though, to help you age in place and prolong the nursing home or even avoid it. So I'll send you some information. And this is a great time to mail them a brochure. Okay. You could order brochures off mick.gomedico.com or wellabe.com/sign-in. Order a bunch of brochures, buy some envelopes, get a little return address for yourself or your agency, handwrite the envelope, throw the brochure in there. Don't fold it up because I think it's a 2-pager or a 4-pager where it opens up like that. But put a post-it note on there. Hey, if you're looking to age in place, this is something a lot of my clients are getting, or something along those lines. I'll follow up with you. You can call me, or I'll follow up after enrollment season's over. So grab a post-it note. And if you're like, that's a lot to write in a post-it note, just get a bigger post-it note and throw in a business card, or paper clip it or staple it to the brochure and send it to all your clients. It's another touch point. It's another conversation you can have with your clients and prospects about aging in place. Most insurance agents don't talk about it. So they're going to really pay attention to that, because what do most people do when it comes to aging in place? Oh, my kids will take care of me. And my response has always been, do they know that? And in fact, it's a conversation my wife and I just had, because I was in Las Vegas last week for a small agency meeting, or a large agency meeting, but an agency meeting. And my parents live there. And after I came home, we were talking, my wife and I, about, okay, what happens if my parents can no longer take care of themselves? Because my mom has trouble walking. She's getting knee replacement. Luckily, my dad's still able to move around and live normally. But what happens as they further age and my dad can no longer fully take care of my mom, or vice versa? What is it going to look like? Because they're 22 hours away by car. It's not a convenient drive down the street. So what's going to happen? We're starting to have the conversation, but my parents are already in their 70s. So that's an issue. Same with my wife's parents. They're here in town and we have a lot more family in town. What happens when they start aging? So, are we, myself and my wife going to take care of them? I'm on the road 70% of the time. I can't do that. Can my wife? She's home, but she has a full-time job. She has 1,000 things going on. Can she add that to her daily living? And the answer is maybe, but we don't know. So it's a conversation we're having in our own home. It's a conversation you should be having with your clients or prospects. Or to say, make sure you talk to your kids about this, because this will give them extra funds to hire extra people to offset their workload of taking care of you. And even if your clients don't get it, at least you inform them of their options, right? If I go to a restaurant and they don't tell me about that delicious chocolate cake, I may be upset I didn't get it. But if I see the chocolate cake and I say no to it, I've no one to blame but myself, either because I got it and I feel disgusting, but wonderful at the same time because I ate it, or I have regret because I get home and I'm like, man, I should have had that piece of cake. But no one to blame but myself. Same thing here. So for your Q1 appointments, I highly, highly, highly recommend ordering some short-term care brochures, getting some post-it notes, and it's Amazon Prime days right now. Today and tomorrow, Amazon's got a big sale, which I think they're going to start doing more frequently, because obviously they see an uptick in sales when they have these Prime days, because it used to be once a year. Now it's in October. So our second one, but go on there, get some post-it notes, buy some envelopes, some, legal size envelopes, so you can just slide the brochure in there, and it's going to stick out in their mailbox from the normal sized envelopes. Get some return address labels for yourself. You can print them on your own, buy some, printer paper that has the stickers built in, or buy a stamp. I've seen people do that. You can get a stamp that says important and stamp it on there, whatever you want to do, however you want to handle it. Or you can get custom lettering and stuff online or through other retailers. But slide that brochure in, put that post-it on there. Hey, we talked about aging in place. This is something a lot of my clients are purchasing to help offset aging in place costs. Call me with questions, or I'll follow up with you after enrollment season. Something along those lines. But I think it's important to say a lot of my clients are considering this, because then it's not, I'm the only one buying this. It's everyone's getting this. Oh, this is the path everyone's going on to age in place. Okay, I'm gonna take that path too. So something along the lines, because we're selling the policy, so you're not lying. A lot of clients are considering it. So make sure you put that poster on there, attach your business card, mail it off. But Mike, I'm so busy. Yeah, are you too busy to take care of your clients? No. While you're watching Netflix or whatever you're watching, sit down and you can go through the week. Let's say you meet with 10 people that week, or 15 people. How long does it take to write 15 of the same Post-it notes, handwrite 15 address envelopes, and stuff them real quick? 15 minutes? Yeah. And you have the potential of taking care of your clients and earning more sales and all the positives that go along with it. So there's my $1 million piece of advice for you. Of course, if you're like, where do I get those brochures, Mike? I'm glad you asked. Wellabe.com/sign in, and it'll send you over to mick.gomedico.com, which is a Medico agent portal. You go to forms, order supply forms, you find your state, you do that. But Mike, short-term care is not in my state. Fine, do it for hospital indemnity. Do it for cancer plans, right? Who wants to pay 20% of chemotherapy? Nobody. Download a cancer brochure or the cancer brochures, send those in there. Hey, a lot of my clients are getting this to offset chemotherapy costs and allow them to have more options for treatment. Something along those lines. Write down a Post-it note, handwritten, because handwritten notes get read, right? Typed letters, this looks like work. Not reading it. Handwritten, I'm going to read this because you took the time to send me a note. I'm going to read that quick note. So any questions, comments, concerns, threats, promises, I'll put these notes and ideas in the post email this week. So watch for that. If you haven't joined our LinkedIn group, definitely check that out as well.